What did Peter Parker's uncle say to him? With great power comes great responsibility. In order for you to really become the creator of your reality, in order for you to turn your life from where it is now to 10 times what it is, or 100 times, or 1,000 times what it is, the very first step that you must take is you must take radical, transparent responsibility for your life. Now, you may not go as far as to believe, like myself, that I am God, that I am the creator of my reality. I am the absolute creator of my reality. You may not quite believe that yet, but you must take strong, radical responsibility for your life. You must realize that you are the cause of everything that unfolds in your life. Let me give you an example. If I were to leave my house right now and get in the car, and I were to drive down the road, and I obey the speeds, I obey the laws of the road. Okay, I do not speed. I drive with the cruise control everywhere. I know all of the rules. I obey all of the rules because it's not just my safety, it's everybody else's. But let's say I'm driving down the road, minding my own business. I'm always aware of my surroundings. But out of nowhere, someone pulls out, boom, T-bones me. Okay? Rather than blaming them, now there may be a moment of emotion where, I'm pissed off because, my day, I just got fucking T-boned and now my day is thrown up in a frenzy. But when the dust settles, I will most definitely take full radical responsibility for what happened. Because I'm the one that decided to leave my house at that time. I'm the one that decided to be in that lane. I'm the one that decided to drive that speed limit. I made every decision that put me in the time and the place in this universe that caused me to be there when that person pulled out. I do not believe in accidents. I do not believe in accidents. Everything in this universe is unfolding more perfectly than our finite human minds could ever begin to comprehend. So the more responsibility you take for your life, the more power you will be given by whatever you believe your higher power is. Because only by having more responsibility can you be responsible for the power. So the first step is taking responsibility and taking accountability that everything, every detail of your life is your creation. And that means if you want to change your life, if you want to change your results, if you want to 10x, 100x, 1000x your current results in life, you are the variable. In this video, I'm going to dive deeper into how you work. Because remember, your body, your physical body, is the expression of your mind. Your body is just taking orders from your mind, period. So, in that example, I decided, I had a thought, I had an idea, I had an impulse, whatever it was that caused me to leave at a certain period of time. My body followed my mind. I believe that my mind actually knew what the future held. Because I believe that time has already happened. Everything has already happened in this moment. So my mind already knew that it happened. I was just going frame by frame until it happened. Because I believe a situation like that, an experience like that, is there to wake up. You're not paying attention. Something's going on that would cause that chaos in your life to jolt you to be like, dude, what the hell's going on? Pay attention. Because again, there's no such thing as accidents in this life. And me personally, again, I've been on this journey for 20 years. I have a very deep conviction on this stuff, to the point where, again, it's the most controversial statement that I make, is I believe I am God. My intention is to be more close to the Creator, that I am it and it is me, that thy will be done, not mine. I want to be more one with you. So lead me, guide me to do the right, to make the right move so I don't get in accidents. So understand also, your goals, your desires, they're not even yours. They are God's seeking expression through you. It wants to experience that through your individual perspective. But also, this is the carrot that is dangled in front of us. Hey, are you willing to change who you are to create and to step into an entirely new reality? Because that is what it's going to take, and that is what most people are not willing to do. Period. Most people aren't willing to completely change who they are in order to live that life. Because that is ultimately what it's going to take. There are going to be major challenges, major hurdles, major roadblocks in the way that you're going to have to overcome. And in this video, I'm going to lay all of that out for you. Okay? So first premise is taking radical responsibility. You've got to come to the full realization that everything in your life, all of your results, all of your circumstances, they're 100% of your creation. Nobody else. You're not a victim. You are the creator. Okay? If you want to change your results, you have to change. Understand, you're playing a game. And just like in a game, you're playing a character in the game. And that character has character traits. Are you lazy or are you ambitious? Are you happy or are you depressed? Are you weak or are you strong, mentally, physically, emotionally? Those are character traits, and you are expressing those in the game. And most people are so comfortable playing that character, they're so unwilling to let it go and to step into a new one. Okay? Now, if you'd like even deeper understanding of what I'm going to go over today, definitely check out my video series, 3-part series, Life is Just a Game, and how to be a winner at it. So understand, again, you, the bigger part of you, there's an infinite part of you. Again, that's the part of you that is God. It is God. You are it and it is you. And then you start to focalize. You got the unconscious mind, the part of you that goes, when you go to sleep, you reconnect, you kind of turn all this off, just like if I were to put my computer into sleep, it's still running at a very deep level. It's where your dreams are coming into play, things of that nature, okay? You can access this through meditation, through hypnosis, deep hypnosis, through psychedelics, for sure. This is also where like the collective mind, your ancestral mind lives. Let's say your collective, okay, ancestral, okay, galactic mind, okay, then you have the part of you that now we focalize even more, even smaller we focalize, because it's like a laser, it's like light that's laser focused, then boom, it materializes into your physical body, and that's the expression of all that light. Now, you've got two parts of your mind. But before we get into those two parts, okay, understand that when you were born, you didn't even have a fully developed mind. You just had this lower part of your mind, the subconscious mind. Okay, so understand you have two parts to your mind. You have the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is the part of your mind that thinks, it questions, it calculates, it reasons. Okay? And then you have the subconscious mind. Those are programs. Your body is the expression of the programs that have been hard-coded into your subconscious mind. Okay? Think of it like this. Your body is like this phone. It's the hardware. It's the physical hardware. Now there's an operating system on this here phone. There too, there's an operating system that runs your physical body. It's called subconscious programming, or it's called your paradigm. Now again, when you're born, you have no paradigm. You have none of this developed yet. It's developing. In fact, it's always developing. It's malleable. You can change it at any time. However, because most people have never even seen this diagram, let alone the components that make it up, they don't understand that they can change it, so they just keep on repeating the same patterns, the same habits, getting the same results their entire life. They're like, gosh, why does my life suck and their life is so good? Because you have learned conditioned programming that's running your life. 95% of every action you take from the moment you wake up to the time that you go to bed, and every action in between, is a subconscious program. So all you got to do is rewire, reprogram that thing, and your body will take completely different actions. You will be inspired to take actions. You'll still feel the old conditioning, but you'll break through it. And then you'll realize, oh, there was nothing to be scared of. Because that's what prevents us from taking action and changing our character overall. It's fear. Okay? Or false evidence appearing real. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Okay, but again, when you're born, when you come out of the womb, you don't have this top part. Your conscious mind isn't developed yet. A baby doesn't think for itself. It's completely unconscious. In fact, a baby is more in an unconscious state than it is in a conscious state. That's why they sleep so much, especially for the first few weeks. They're still more connected to God than they are connected to their body. They're taking in a tremendous amount of data from their environment, from mom and dad especially. In fact, especially from mom. Because from 49 days after conception, 7 times 7, 7 weeks times 7, or 7 days in a week times 7 weeks is 49 days. That's when a massive release of DMT is released into the bloodstream. And that's when many, mystics, Hindus, Buddhists of certain sects believe that's when the spirit enters the body. 7 times 7. And from that moment, you're being imprinted with data from your mother. That's why it's so important that when a woman is pregnant, we're taking care of her, we're nurturing her, we're loving her, we're making sure she's comfortable, that she feels safe, that she feels nurtured and loved, because that baby is getting all that data, all that feedback as well. It's vitally important. But then as time goes on, the baby starts to develop its conscious mind. Okay? Conscious. Okay? And then you go to school. This is school. So about 5 years old in America, the child goes to school. And then they start getting more ideas installed into their computer, because again, the information goes through the conscious mind and into the subconscious mind. and the paradigm is being formed between the ages of 49 days and roughly 6 to 8 years old, until they come into the age of reason. That's why it's called the age of reason, because that's when the individual starts to be formed, starts to express itself, starts to think for itself. The age of reason. It's when the conscious mind is developed. It has ideas of its own. The paradigm has been formed, let's say 80% formed. Then for the remainder of the 20%, it might take 10, 15 years. They say males don't fully develop until they're like in their 30s. I would agree with that. I'm still developing, okay? So you've got this, it's constantly. So what was your family life like? Did you grow up in a single family household? Or were both parents there? What was the money situation like for your parents? Did they have money or did they not have money? It's Christmas time. Christmas is a very emotional time of the year. I know in my household growing up, there's a lot of fighting actually because of money around Christmas time. So what was that like? What was affection like? What was acceptance like as a child? Were you pushed in sports and you weren't given attention or praise unless you won? All of this is learned. It's all installed into your biocomputer. In fact, that studies show that highly ambitious men, the reason why they strive, even at the cost of their children and time with their children, time with their family, is because they didn't get validation, praise, love from their dad growing up. So like, oh, I'll show you. I'm going to go achieve more than you did. And I'm going to outshine you to show you I am good enough. Okay? Again, everything. There's no accidents. No, there's none. Okay? You got to get that out of your head. Okay? Boom. Then we go to grade school. We're getting more ideas. And nowadays, that's why I took my son out of the public school system. I didn't like the ideas that were being promoted in the public school system. So again, I'm not here to, listen, I got very wild ideas, okay? I'm not religious. I'm very much believe in freedom. You can do whatever you want in your house. I'm gonna do whatever I want in my house, but don't come trying to, promote your ideals to my kid, okay? Again, I'm not gonna go off on that though, okay? And then, once you get into junior high, high school, you graduate, now you're being heavily influenced by the culture. But even nowadays, I mean, my son's had an iPad since he was 3 years old. He's got he's got a motherfucking iPhone Pro, so he's being influenced by culture. He watches YouTube, that's culture. That's being installed. That's why it's so important that you have in my opinion, a close, transparent, open, honest relationship with your children. Where, hey, I can talk to my son about all these things, sex, drugs, rock and roll, all that stuff. I have that open communication with him and say, hey man, there's things that you're just not ready for, and I don't want them in your mind. I don't want it being perverted yet. You will cross that road when we get there. So I'm going to make sure all your devices are open to me. I don't want you seeing certain things yet. Your mind is not ready for that. Okay? So anyways, constantly being programmed. Now your paradigm is made up of 3 simple ideas. These 3 simple ideas literally control your entire life. Your entire life right now as you watch this video are being controlled by 3 simple ideas. Just like the movie Inception. You have 3 simple ideas that are running, controlling your entire life. I am, people are, life is. I am, people are, life is. Those 3 ideas run your entire life. I'm a winner, I'm a loser. I'm beautiful, I'm ugly. I'm rich, I'm poor. I'm worth it, I'm unworthy. I'm loved, I'm unloved. I'm good enough, I'm not good enough. Women are blank, men are blank. White people are blank, black people are blank. Whatever you believe is true of following any of those statements is true in your life. It reflects back to you. Period. Full stop. The reason why you don't have any money, because you think money is hard, it's hard to get, it comes in and goes out, because that's what you saw your parents do. You're just following the same program, the same pattern that you experienced growing up. So you absorbed it through osmosis. You saw your parents struggle, therefore you struggle. The program was passed down. Okay, what do they say? I think it's like 80% or more of welfare recipients, their children will be on welfare because it's just a passed down pattern. And same thing with, wealthy people, first generation, second generation, then it starts to taper off because then they start to become lazy, because part of wealth is ambition. You got to be ambitious. You got to be responsible. You got to be disciplined. You got to be consistent to be successful. Big time wealth is a reflection of character. Once the character is, it dissolves over time, the money is wasted. Look at the Vanderbilts. Okay, so I am, people are, life is. Now, what I would highly recommend you do is get a pen and a piece of paper, and you're going to want to write down the memories, key memories, especially right now, around the holidays. What are memories you have of the holidays? Were they fighting or were they joy? Was there a lot of generosity and giving and just tons of presents under the tree? Or were there barely anything? And you felt less than, because your friends were all talking about the new stuff that they got and you didn't get anything. And that's oftentimes why people strive to get stuff, but then they still feel empty because deep inside they didn't change the root. I am worthy. I am good enough. You go buy these cars, millions of dollars worth of cars, and they still feel empty inside because you didn't change the program. Just because you got stuff doesn't mean you changed the program. Okay, that's where they got us. They got you backwards. They've taught you to go and strive to accomplish and to attain things, and that will fix everything. That's not how it works. You got to fix it from the inside out. You got to go in and rewire the paradigm. And that's what I was saying in the beginning. That's the hardest work you will ever do, is to change who you are at a fundamental level, period. Because what's the most? Your relationships are a reflection of you. You have to stop hanging out with the friends you've been hanging out with since grade school. Now, I'm not saying you write them a letter and say, I'm not going to hang out with you anymore because I saw Gary's video. You just say, I'm too busy now. I'm focused on building a new life. And once I've built that life, then I'll hit you up and see where you're at. Because most people aren't going to go where you want to go. Okay? Most people, where can I write this? Okay? You got 3 classes of people. You got the 99%. This is the herd. This is the masses. Most people fall into that category. Okay? Fat, sick, and broke. And they're never going to improve their lot in life. And that's okay. God bless them. We don't all get the gift of desire. Okay? Then you get the 1%. To me, these people are actually more trapped. Because they're the ones that they've really, through force of will, they've gone out there and they've made a bunch of money. They buy all the cars. They go on vacations. They're always doing drugs. They're always drinking every weekend, during the week. Tons of sex, tons of hedonism. But inside, man, they're a wreck. Because they're chasing fulfillment through things, through experiences, through pleasure. And those are their traps. It's the trap of materialism. It's the trap of pride. It's the trap of vanity. You can have your cake and eat it too. Let me tell you, you don't have to be an ascetic. You don't have to be a renunciate. You can have your cake and eat it too. I'm telling you, most of the people caught in that, though, they are very much seeking hedonism. They're chasing hedonism. They're chasing materialism. They're chasing sex, chasing pleasure, stuff like that. Then you've got the 0.1%. Okay? This is the very few. These are the people like us. They've done the work, deep work. I've been, again, 20 years. I've had to humbly apologize to people. I've had to accept, I've had to forgive people. I've had to do the work. I've had to ancestral work. Okay? Throwing up shit in my pants, writing letters, 20 years worth. And a lot of for myself, and continue to do so. I was just doing it last week, riding my bike. I'm just minding my own business, and boom, I get hit right in the brain. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to forgive myself because I was a real jerk. Okay? So whether you want to believe it or not, whether you want to accept it or not, you fall into one of these classes. Okay? To me at least, the goal, the mission of the game is I'm trying to get here. I don't know what you're trying to do. I'm trying to get here. Where I can have my cake and eat it too. I can have a yacht and I can have total overwhelming peace and gratitude and love and enlightenment like motherfucking Osho. You know, that guy was really killing it, you know. But anyways, it comes down to this. Because if you want to get, if you're right here now, okay, let's say this is you. You're right now in the 99. Man, for you to get here, or even for you to go from right here to right here, you're gonna have to let go of some relationships. And some of those relationships have been linked to you, hooked, connected to you for decades. Sometimes it's even your own family. Sometimes you might go hang out with your family every weekend. And once you start changing your path because you don't like the life that you're living, you don't like the results that you're experiencing, you're like, fuck, the only way for me to get to the promised land, the only way for me to create heaven on earth, my life, is I have to completely change from the inside out. I have to stop seeing myself as a loser, stop seeing myself as someone that never follows through, someone that's a cynic. Everything's a failure. Nothing works out for me. Those are ideas that you believe. I have that cynicism. Learned it from my dad. My dad's a cynic. Passed it on to me. It's something I'm overcoming. But man, I've made huge leaps because first of all, awareness, responsibility. It's up to me. I've got to change it. Let me go in and change it. How do you do that? Talk about it in a minute. Okay? Your paradigm. So again, 3 programs. I am, people are, life is. So if you don't have the relationship that you want, what did you learn about women? Well, I learned growing up, there was a great song, bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. So that's deeply ingrained in my mind. And it's been reflected. But there's many wonderful women out there, okay? I have to change my paradigm, okay? Then your values, okay? We talked about right here, what are your values? What's your hierarchy of values look like? Because if you value money and success more than anything else in your life, more than your health, more than your kids, there are certainly people out there like that. You may be one of them watching this right now. That you would go to work on Sunday, that you would go to work instead of missing your child's basketball game. I understand. I mean, I could never do that. My son means more to me than damn near my health. Damn near my health for sure. Okay, but anyways, you get it. So your values will dictate the actions that you take in your life. Again, paradigm. Okay? And all of these make up your personality. And what does Dr. Joe Dispenza say? That your personal reality is a reflection of your personality, or your personality unfolds into your personal reality. So if you want to change your personal reality, you must change your personality. And you must understand the individual components of your personality or your paradigm. And you must be willing to walk the path. You must be willing to do what it takes. You must be willing to sacrifice yourself and let go of that old life. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You have no other option. Truly. I'm telling you from experience. I've had to let go of many relationships. I've had to distance myself, even in the last year or two. And certainly many more times over the past 2 decades. But I still am in communication with them. I still love them. It's not like I don't love them anymore, but they know where I'm going. They know where I'm going, and they know where I've come from. And I value that. I value myself. I value my dreams. I value my vision more than I value friendship. Not in the sense of, I hate you, I'm never going to talk to you again. But it's like, hey man, I got to go on this mission. I got to go on this journey. I'll see you when I get there. I'll call you. But for now, I'm out of here. I'm not going to come out anymore. I'm not going to watch football anymore. I'm not going to go out for beers. I'm not going to go out to the bars anymore and chase pussy anymore. I'm going to lock in. I'm going to focus. I'm going to do push-ups. I'm going to work out. I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to get my affairs in order. I'm going to take my life to the next level. I'm going to 10x my life because I'm going to 10x myself. And again, you don't have to tell them that. If it comes down that and you tell them that, then that's your journey. You have to stand up for yourself. That's part of this. I am confident. I am powerful. I know what I want. I'm clear about what I want. I'm concise about what I want. And I'm not afraid to share it. And I don't care what other people's opinions are. Period. Now, when you hear my voice say that, you know I'm dead serious. I've had to have these conversations. That's the point you may have to get to. And if you're not willing to stand up for yourself the way that you just saw me step into that character, you ain't ready for this shit. There's levels to this. Okay? Now, understand there's 2 personalities. Now, I was inspired by the phenomenal book Psycho-Cybernetics because, again, in your subconscious mind, you have what's called an RAS. RAS, the reticular activating system, like a heat-seeking missile. Whatever you focus on in your conscious mind will absorb. It will be installed into the subconscious mind, and then the subconscious mind will give orders to the body and tell you to go out there and get that. So if you're broke, maybe even in debt, you got to tell yourself over and over again, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. Every day I'm getting closer. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. You got to feel that power. You got to know. You got to have faith. You got to have hope. You got to have a knowing. I think it's the second principle in Think and Grow Rich is faith. You got to believe in the invisible, knowing that you can make it happen. So you got to focus on that. You got to create a clear vision of what it is that you want. And then you got to focus on that every day, all day, as much as you possibly can. Vision boards, recording. I mean, you got to every day work on it in your mind so it's crystal clear. You got to become obsessed with it so that it will soak into the subconscious mind. And then the subconscious mind will give you orders to go get it. But in order to go get it, you have to change from a loser to a success type personality. So let's break these down. So the S in successful stands for a sense of direction. I'm not going to write these out. So a sense of direction. They know what they want. Period. All successful people know what they want. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's in health, if it's in relationships, if it's money, if it's playing the guitar, if it's shooting a 15 handicap, it doesn't matter what it is. They know exactly what they want. They're focused on it. Okay, 2, they are understanding. They understand how they work, how they operate. We are complex. It's very simple though. I've made this extremely simple to the point where I can draw it out on a chalkboard. This is exactly how every person works. I've been doing this for a long time. I see everybody like this when they sit down with me. They're like, oh my gosh, why am I broke? Well, I'll tell you exactly why you're broke. Tell me about your family life. Tell me about your childhood. That's where your programs were installed. Tell me everything about them. So I understand myself, what makes me tick, what are my insecurities, what are my hang-ups, what are my challenges. I understand myself deeply. I'm open about that. I'm transparent about that. I've got no shame, no qualms in telling anybody about it. And therefore, I understand you. Okay, the first C stands for courage. Courage. Most people are prideful. They're not courageous. It takes a lot of courage to go from being a loser to being successful. It takes a lot of courage to go from being one of the herd to being in the 0.1%. This is very few men will ever get to this level. You might get to this level, but this level is 100, 1,000 times harder to get to that level than it is to get to that level. It's so intricate. The layers, deep work you've got to do, let me tell you. Okay? And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to tell your family, I ain't coming over anymore. It takes a lot of courage to tell your family, I don't do Christmas anymore. I haven't done Christmas for 20 years. I don't celebrate any holidays anymore because that's just not a part of who I am anymore. I had to tell my family that, so they all know it nowadays. Hey, they know who I am. I still love them. I give them the shirt off my back. But it took a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage for you to speak your mind, speak your truth. Second one is charity, big one. For me, they say cleanliness is next to godliness. Well, I say generosity is next to godliness. So I pride myself on being a very generous person because I believe the more generous I am, the more generous God will be with me. So being charitable, being benevolent, being compassionate, being empathetic, that makes you very successful, and that will make people really drawn to you. Very magnetic character trait. The E stands for esteem, having a high self-esteem, holding yourself at a high esteem. I like myself. I accept myself. There was a time where I really didn't. Where I would look in the mirror and I hated what I saw. I hated my face. I hated my big nose. I had zits all over my face. I had to cut my hair with a Flowbee, a vacuum with an attachment on it. Hated myself. But man, I spent a lot of time in the mirror telling myself I love myself, forgiving myself for beating myself up all those days in junior high and high school. Okay. The first S is self-confidence. Okay. Self-confidence is having belief in one's self, having belief in one's ability to follow through and to accomplish anything they put their mind to. That's self-confidence. I am confident. Confident is belief in one's self. Hey, here's the mission. I believe I can do that. And if I can't do that, I'll find someone who can do it. I'll delegate it. Okay? The last one to me is the most important, is they have a strong self-love. Strong self-love. Remember, esteem is acceptance. It's acceptance. It's self-validation. Having an inner locus of control rather than an outer locus of control. Self-love takes that to a whole nother level. And I think this is one of the biggest traits between a 1% and the 0.1%. Is 0.1 has a deep love, true love for themselves. And then that flows over onto the people in their life. Now you got a loser. A loser has a lack of direction. They don't know what they want. They just know they don't want what they've got. Okay? That's most people. Because most people are losing. Especially in today's climate. Man, I went to the post office yesterday. It cost me $20-something to send a box of Legos. Cost of groceries, everything's rising. So if you don't know how to exponentially increase your income, you're losing. Sorry. So no sense of direction. They play the victim. Number 2, overly sensitive. People who are sensitive to words. If you let a word hurt your feelings, that's because it's bouncing, it's triggering a paradigm of yours. Okay? I was at a party a couple weeks ago, and I'm sitting next to this girl, we get to talking, and she tells me I have white privilege. And I'm like, I've never heard that before. Never in my life. Directed at me, at least. And I'm like, what? I'm like, how can I have white privilege? I'm black. And I broke her pattern. I saw her head bobble. Like, what do you mean you're black? I go, yeah, I identify as black. And man, her brain just went, because I understand where she's coming from. So I'm really going to throw her for a loop. I'm going to have fun with it. Because for me, I don't take offense to it at all. Okay? I haven't had any privilege. I've built all my life by myself. But anyway, I wasn't sensitive. I saw it as a game. But when I hit the ball back into her court, she was fumbling, overly sensitive. Okay? S, stuck in the past. This is a big one for losers. They're stuck in the past. The past is dead and gone. There is nothing you can do about the past to change it. All you can do is learn from it so you don't make the same mistake again. That is it. Big one for the loser. Another big one, E, entitlement. Let me tell you something about entitlement. The universe, it's trying to kill you. Even right now, the oxygen that you breathe, it's oxidating your body. Just like how iron rusts, that's oxidization. Oxygen is oxidizing you. It's breaking your cells down, oxidizing them. That's why they have antioxidants, because oxidants break you down. The reality that you live in, the air that you breathe, the oxygen is trying to kill you. There's parts of the world that if you go to right now and you get bit by a mosquito, it will kill you. You deserve nothing. You are entitled to nothing. Everything you get in life is your creation. It's the opposite of entitlement, responsibility. Okay? Then the last one, they're resentful. They blame their mom and dad. They blame their environment. They blame circumstance. Blame. Resentful. They're losers. You got the successful and the loser type personality. I think after describing those, you can clearly see how one would win and one would lose in life. Now understand, it's as fine as a razor's edge, the difference between being successful and being a loser, between being a 1% and being a 0.1% is really as fine as a razor's edge. Okay? Understand that 95% of every action that you choose from the moment that you wake up to the time that you go to bed is an unconscious or subconscious, I have differentiated them, it's a subconscious program. It is an expression of your paradigm. If you want to 10x your life, if you want to go from being in the 1% to the 0.1%, you are going to have to become so aware of everything that you do, so that you can fine-tune this life of yours. so that you can ask yourself, well, why am I doing that? Let me trace it back to where did I? It's all learned. Everything, it's all been taught to you. Everything, your religion was taught to you. I'm sorry for the religious folks. I hate to always get on this topic, but it's been taught to you. You haven't proven it. Faith is believing in a lie. Just like, hey, you got to believe in a lie. You got to believe in something that's not true in your apparent reality. Except for with this, you will ultimately prove it to be true. Whereas with religion, I'm sorry, it hasn't been proven yet. So religion has been taught to you. Statism has been taught to you. Ownership has been taught to you. Patriotism, taught to you. These ideals have been taught to you by your family growing up, by your environment, by your relationships, the closest ones to you, by the school system, by culture as a whole. It's taught to you. If you really want to get big results, I'm talking 0.1%, you got to disconnect from all this and you've got to take control of your life. You've got to take control of your life. And the first step of taking control of your life is you've got to cut off all the data that's coming into your mind because you're being bombarded with data. Your phone is projecting data at you constantly, and there are people out there that are really good at it. Marketers, advertisers, propagandists, they are 24/7 right in front of your face. So you've got to guard your mind like you're guarding the most valuable treasure, because it is. And only you can reprogram it. Only you can change your life. That's it. But here's the thing. The reason why very few people will ever step into the 0.1% of men is because they're not willing to completely transform their character, who they're playing. And I'm not saying for money. I'm saying if you want to 10x your spirituality, you want to 10x your connection with God, that means you have to let go of a lot of the shit that you're holding on to. Period. Otherwise, you'd already be there. The reason why you're not where you want to be, and only you know where you truly want to be, only you know your heart of hearts, but the only reason why you're not where you want to be is because you're still holding on to ideals and ideas that you've been holding on to for sometimes decades. Perhaps habits that you've been holding on to for decades. Food that you're eating that may not be the most beneficial to your highest purpose. Drinks that you're drinking, actions that you're taking, words that you're saying, shows that you're watching, music that you're listening to. That's what I'm saying. That's how finely you must tune this machine, is you must become aware that it's all symbiotic. The music that you listen to, it's influencing you, but you're also choosing it. You're choosing to be influenced by it. Once you change the decision to say, hey, I understand that the message, the moral behind the story does not resonate with where I want to take my life, I'm no longer going to make that decision. I'm not listening to that music anymore. I'm not going to listen to music anymore. I'm going to only listen to podcasts, or I'm going to only listen to inspirational, motivational stuff that gets me pumped up. That one change. Hey, I'm not going to watch Netflix anymore. I'm not going to watch movies anymore. I'm not going to watch World War II documentaries anymore. I'm not going to think about the Roman Empire anymore. That's how deep this goes. If you want to get to the 0.1%, you can just stay in the 1% and you can be satisfied just chasing, especially if you feel empty inside. If you've gone out and only you know. But I have, my intuition has never been wrong. And I would venture to say that if I could go into the hearts and the minds of many of the greatest achievers out there right now, all the top influencers and online gurus, the Tai Lopez, the Grant Cardone, the Muscle, all these people, that one guy, Andy Elliott, these guys got a lot of shit that they still haven't worked on, and they're just trying to mask it all up with high achievement. Oh, look at me, look at my car, look at my money, look at my wife, look at my house, I got a helicopter pad in my front yard, but guess what? I still feel empty inside because my dad never told me he loved me, never hugged me, or I got picked on in school because I was fat, or this, that, or the other. Because we all have skeletons in our closet. And the reason why most men are going out there and trying to achieve material success is to try to cover up those skeletons with stuff, with money, stuff like that. But I'm telling you, once you go in and you clean the closet, then you get to have both. You get to have the money and you get to have the peace. You get to have the fulfillment. You get to have the joy, not temporary pleasure. Okay? So, that's it for this video. I'm sure I went way long. Oh yeah, 51 minutes. Holy shit. If you made it this far, for real, I owe you $1. Okay? Comment $1 emoji if you made it this far, for real. I'm gonna do like a giveaway, like $1,000 XRP giveaway or something like that if you made it this far. I'm not promising anything. Let's see how many comments we get. But if you enjoyed this and you are someone, if you're in the 99% or you're in the 1%, you're the person I talked to at the very end, and you want to get to the 0.1%, I invite you to check out my school community. Because I've created something that I've never seen done before. Something that creates immediate change, and it could 10x, 100x, 1000x your results in 12 weeks or less. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, check out the link in the bio. Other than that, we'll see you on the next video. Peace.